Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about David Ayer's latest film released on January 12th, 2024, The Beekeeper. It's an action thriller following the retired and unstoppable secret agent Clay as he gets vengeance on a group of scammers. Now, before I hop into my review, if you want to support the channel, then please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you, I appreciate it. As a warning, this review will contain some heavy spoilers, so continue at your own risk. Lastly, if you want to see anything reviewed, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I will get to it as soon as I can. Thank you. I'm hopping in 3, 2, 1. I loved the plot of this movie, so let me give you a little bit more context without spoiling too much. In this universe, there's a super secret agency codenamed Beekeepers, and when it comes to military service, they are the cream of the crop. Adam Clay, played by one of the most badass actors ever, is a retired beekeeper. On top of that, he is also an actual beekeeper. You know, the ones that go bzzz. This beekeeper entendre leads to some cheesy, silly, and funny lines throughout the film, which can be overdone at times. Anyways, being retired and all, Clay takes care of his elderly neighbor, Eloise, and she takes care of him. Well, in our modern world of internet land, it's not uncommon for elderly people to be scammed when using tech. They didn't grow up with it the way that we did, and they are easily susceptible to things that younger folks might not fall for, like fake virus screens. Eloise loses all of her life savings and the millions of dollars she monitors for a charity. Clay decides to get vengeance and go John Wick mode on the scammers by cutting, shooting, and blowing up every single individual involved. He is an invincible killing machine. Now, I love the scammer plot because it is so grounded in reality. Some of my favorite YouTube channels like Scammer Payback and Jim Browning have hundreds of videos showing scamming centers, how they operate, and their attempts at recovering money for elderly folks. The one thing that kills me about Payback and Jim's channels is that the scammers often get away without any punishment. However, in this movie, they get absolutely shredded, and it is beautiful. Almost makes me wish there were secret beekeepers in real life. Another thing that I really loved about this movie was the cast. Well, I mostly loved it. To start, I love Jason Statham. He's a very one-dimensional actor, and I am here for it. I want the action, I want the guns, I want the fights, I want the one-liners, I want the cheese. In Beekeeper, Jason Statham does what Jason Statham does best. Making the movie even better is our boy PETA. Josh Hutcherson, the internet sweetheart, is on a roll with Five Nights at Freddy's and The Beekeeper. He does a wonderful job playing an egotistical, conniving, bratty, spoiled nepo baby. If you've seen John Wick, he's a lot like Viggo's son, but much more characterized, which I think is one of the things I really loved about this movie, how over the top everything was. As an example, another character that I really loved was Lazarus, played by Taylor James. He was so outlandish and felt like a video game villain come to life, like straight out of a Call of Duty game. I don't know what accent he had, Irish, Scottish, but it was fun seeing him fully send his role. One last character and cast member I really enjoyed was David Witz as Mickey Garner, the first big bad scammer in the film. I love that all of the scammers in this movie felt very Leonardo DiCaprio, Jordan Belfort sleazy. They all killed it to me. The rest of the cast was great, including Arian Nick as Agent Tommy, Jeremy Irons as Wallace Westwood, and Felicia Rashad as Eloise. The only character and cast member I found out of place was Emmy Raver Lampman's Agent Verona Parker. I hate to say it, but she did not have the acting chops or screen presence needed for this movie of over-the-top acting. When she needed to be sad or angry, it didn't shine through and all felt monotonous because her facial expressions conveyed, well, nothing. Some examples of actresses that could have taken this role on and brought more to the screen are Keke Palmer, Lupita Nyong'o, and Lashana Lynch. One thing that I did go back and forth with on this movie was the tone. At first I loved it, and then I didn't, and then I did, and then I didn't, and then I did. I think a big part of why I wrestled with the tone is the beekeeper entendre and all the puns and beekeeper monologues it spawned. Personally, I found these one-liners and monologues about bees and hives distracting, but I guess they do make the movie unique. Other than that, I love the action and the half-serious tone of the film. More than anything, I loved how over-the-top everything was. It's the kind of action movie that helped me start this year off right. Music, production design, pacing, and cinematography were all relatively good. It's hard for me to pinpoint anything about this movie that was excellent, but I can certainly say there wasn't anything bad. If I were to compare this movie to something like John Wick, then there are a lot of similarities. But The Beekeeper lacks the X factor that John Wick has. I don't know what makes up that X factor, the pacing, cinematography, music, storytelling, or all of it. It's hard to tell. I know this sounds bad, but this movie is like the Great Value version of John Wick. Great Value is still a good brand, but it's not the authentic product and experience you get with something like John Wick. To clarify, I think this movie is good, but it could have used some tweaking to make it great. Overall, I enjoyed The Beekeeper. My favorite things about this movie were the plot, over-the-top action, and characters. I hate scammers. They are the worst and completely despicable, so seeing Clay shred them to pieces brought a smile to my face. The crazy stunts and kills in this movie kept me engaged and on the edge of my seat. The acting by Jason Statham was exactly what I expected, and I had fun with it. The acting from other cast members like Josh Hutcherson and Taylor James were fantastic and helped make this movie intensely fun. There could have been some casting improvements like with Agent Verona Parker, but overall, I don't have too many complaints. The main thing about this movie that I wrestled with was the tone, but ultimately I came to enjoy it in the end. The Beekeeper entendres and puns made it hard, but I think this movie did just enough right with the tone for me to look past them. I don't have any complaints about the pacing, production design, music, and cinematography, but I also don't have any praise for them. They were respectively good, but nothing quite stood out. The best way for me to describe this movie is as a great value John Wick. It's fun, action-packed, and cheesy, but doesn't quite have the X factor to make it a great movie. Am I going to remember The Beekeeper 10 years from now? Probably not. But did I have a good time watching it? Most certainly. So if you like action movies, Jason Statham, or Josh Hutcherson, then I'd recommend watching this movie. There is a lot you can have fun with. Thank you for listening to my review of The Beekeeper. If you enjoyed the content and want to support the channel, then please take a second to like and subscribe. However, if you did not enjoy the content, then thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if you want to see me review something, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I will get to it as soon as I can. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.